summed up the left's latest desperate attempt to ensure Obama's third term by proxy in 2016. The objective behind his summation is the left's need to retain at least a pen and a phone in the White House that can continue to circumvent the separation of powers should they not recapture Congress through fundraising, vote pandering, redistricting, and fraud. Brownstein pens, with the Indiana religious freedom law, Pence detonated what could be the biggest landmine facing his party in 2016, the sense that the GOP wants to reverse the cultural and demographic changes relentlessly remaking America. Brownstein reiterates, as only a media parrot can, that once again right-wing extremist factions, otherwise known as Christian conservatives, have succeeded in deviously enlisting yet another tepid establishment Republican in their quest to reinitiate the days of the Inquisition in order to thwart our first half-white president's bid to finish fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Using a 22-year-old federal law initially written by Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer and signed into law by Bill Clinton that was later diluted by the Supreme Court ruling in 1997 as an overreach into state sovereignty, several states have passed their own versions of the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act, which decrees people have a civil right to refuse to participate in activities that go against their own religious beliefs. Indiana has been the latest of 22 states to do this. Utilizing the race card as a premise from which the civil rights movement has been redefined to include anything anyone can dream up as a right, the left has introduced the war on women, which demands the right to murder unborn children and receive free birth control, all on the taxpayer dime, and the war on economic injustice, in which the wealth disparity theme has been embraced under Obama's creative destruction agenda, also known as wealth redistribution or Keynesian economics, and expanded and repackaged as new and improved by proclaiming opportunity and entitlement means the same thing. This has not been enough to once and for all bring about the left's vision of a utopian collective. The war on Christianity is the left's last leg of its progressive platform. It is a campaign designed to further redefine and rewrite American heritage and history by assigning Christian influence in government as the primary reason we are a nation of greedy, oppressing haters rather than generous, compassionate liberators. Forcing private sector enterprises to not only tolerate but condone and accept silently the immoral onslaught orchestrated by the left and subjected upon society by the homosexual activist community, we are now seeing the signs of political genocide equivalent to the early days of the Holocaust in Germany. Businesses are being marked for protests and boycotted, while their owners and CEOs are being tried and politically ostracized in the mock court of public opinion by ideological vigilantes. There is much more to the DNC's dislike of Israel than just its appeasement of Islam or its sympathy towards Palestine. Traditional Christianity stands in the way as to how a remade America should look, and it needs to be either redefined or removed. Barack Obama himself hides behind a newly fabricated shield of pseudo-Christianity, one that equates wealth redistribution and immoral tolerance as the essential elements of the gospel proclaimed by a black Jesus, while the rest of the world proclaims rainbows or validation that God is gay. Well, let us not forget another man who used this same facade as a means to an end. Hitler touted himself a Christian in the early days of his campaign. He, too, later perverted his doctrine to fit his ideological belief Jews were a problem that needed a final solution. Such it is today in regard to Christianity. Christianity remains the last barrier to tyrannical rule. It is the last reminder of moral conscience. It is the last voice that can warn of pending destruction and exile into the wilderness of enslavement. In the minds of the godless, Christianity must be eradicated in the same way Judaism was in Germany. Unfortunately, the church, for whatever reason, has spent too much time huddled within its own walls, believing if it just leaves the godless alone, they will leave it alone. Well, that isn't going to happen. It is time Christians acknowledge this. It is time to proclaim our own jihad, our own holy war in the name of Christian injustice. After all, if God is really for us, who can stand against us? What weapon formed against us can prosper? Of course, this means picking up the most effective weapon we have and wielding it. That weapon is our vote. It is time. What God has put together, let no man tear asunder. This is John Matthews for Moments of Madness. Conservative Syndicate. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed my latest edition of Moments in Madness. I don't know where these things come from, but sometimes I woke up in the middle of the night last night and it hit me like I was up at 4 o'clock this morning putting this thing together. My wife said, "What are you doing so early?" I said, "Man, when you hear the voice, you got to respond.
Fabulous. Really, just great. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're back here, and we've got my co-host Joe Hakos from Dryer Report and our senior syndicate panel member Karen Sigmund doing her own show now out in Philly, and that's on Wednesday, 10 o'clock Western time?
Yes.
How do people find it? Do you have a link on Rage Against the Media? I
do. It's also WNJC AM 1360 and CCSRnetwork.com.
Okay.
It's Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
Oh, that's okay. So you're tied in with Rick Turner.
Yes.
Oh, man. You have fulfilled one of my dreams. I've been trying. Turner has tried to get me on his network several times. He wanted me to do a regular show there. I just can't afford the
Rick Trader.
Rick Trader. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't afford the airtime that he wants. But he wanted to give me a 2-hour slot Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And he's been harping on me for about the better part of 4 years now. And every time he approaches me with it, I'm like, I haven't made the money yet, man.
Well.
Oh, that's great. That's outstanding. That's a good guy to hook up with.
And it's just, we had met at CPAC.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you.
2 years ago and then again this year. And so it all came together. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
okay.
Karen.
Okay, I'll have to start dropping.
Adulation here.
I'll have to start dropping Karen's name. Maybe I get a discount.
Karen, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, can you explain to me what exactly has the state of Iran done to change their behavior to allow us to go ahead and disregard any of the things they've been doing lately, and to give them a nuclear weapons deal that allows them within maybe 15 years, according to the U.S. talking points, to maybe go back to what they've been doing? Can you explain what exactly they've done?
Yeah. Absolutely nothing. Have they released any of our people who they've held? No. Have they instituted any kind of liberalization of laws? No. Have they? Right? I've asked the same question. Well, that question, and what part of this deal is good for us?
I've asked that before too.
Right? Zero. Not a single thing. It's mind-blowing.
It's good for one thing.
What's that?
Barack Obama's legacy.
Well, yes. And, we were just talking, we weren't talking about the Rolling Stone thing, but when you go to the negotiating table with an overarching, with your one goal, your goal is to walk away with a deal, any deal. Not having your goal be peace or, any specific concrete things that you want. But when your goal is to walk away with a deal, this is what happens. You get zero. They get everything. He was treated, I don't remember his name, the Iranian, treated like a rock star when he got back to Tehran because he got absolutely everything.
Zarif.
Yeah, right?
Foreign Minister Zarif, yes.
It's unbelievable. They as one of the newscasters said, they gave him the reception of a victorious NFL team, yes. Which is, pardon me?
He was a conquering hero.
A conquering hero, and that's exactly what he is.
These are references to Kerry?
No. This is
to the Iranian.
Oh. Okay.
This is as they were going in their Friday prayers. Last Friday, when this deal was announced, their Friday afternoon prayers, this is basically a state-sponsored State of the Union, more or less, where they're all together. The people giving the prayer in the afternoon is they're all on the same message because it's a governmental thing. Okay. And so they're all told the same thing. And they're screaming death to America in their prayers in celebration of this agreement being announced.
Celebration. And they played Obama's speech also. And just were hooting and hollering because when you a victorious hero, that's exactly what he is. He got sanctions dropped. Their economy is going to boom, and they are still one of the harshest theocratic dictatorships on the planet. And they got the United States to kowtow to absolutely everything they want. Everything. They lost nothing. We gained nothing. It's mind blowing. It's, Lausanne is worse than Munich. We keep going back to Hitler. Worse than Munich, because then they were just carving up Poland, which was bad enough. But now, in a nuclear age, there's nobody who's going to be left untouched by this.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even little Malia and Sasha. Right? Are those the little Obama girls' names? They where World War III breaks out, these kids will be touched by it too.
Yep. I'm looking right here while you guys are talking here. I had pulled up an article just arbitrarily just before I went on the air, and I'm looking at it as I'm listening to you guys talk, and I'm really kind of shocked at what I'm reading right now. This is an article. This is a translated version of what Payam Mohseni, who is the who is this guy? Iran's foreign ministry released a fact sheet entitled "Summary of the Package of Joint Solutions for Reaching a Comprehensive Plan of Joint Action." Wait, what is it about these guys that they got to have a paragraph to title something? But it's a summary of action. It should have been like, this is our bucket list. You could have just said
this is our bowl full of jelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Summary of the package of joint solutions for reaching a comprehensive plan of joint action, which means this is a summary of some solutions that we have reached in order to advance to some other place at a point in time with an actual plan. This is like the meeting before the meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
Talking about. I'm thinking of the Butabi brothers in Night at the Roxbury. They're having their first meeting. They're planning a meeting to start their nightclub. Well, I think we need to have a meeting about the meeting so that we can determine what it is we're going to talk about at the meeting. That kind of thing.
Yep.
So he says in here that the article is written, and the title of the article is, "Why is Obama's fact sheet different from Iran's fact sheet?" And it goes on. It goes on here, and it says, "This is what Iran is putting out."
Yes.
What solutions did Iran and the P5+1 reach? I don't know who that. It must have been us and somebody else. Okay.
Who's the +1?
Yeah. 5+1. Why couldn't they just say the other 6 guys? Okay.
Why don't they just say the 6?
Okay.
Well, for some reason, Germany was tacked on at the end, I think.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't
That's
get full
because
credit.
we spied on him.
Okay. He just he gets a co-star credit instead of starring. Okay. What solutions did Iran and the P5+1 reach? Arak, I guess that's the name of the reactors. Arak heavy water reactor remains. Conversion of Fordo to an advanced nuclear and physics research center. All the sanctions will be immediately removed after reaching a comprehensive agreement. According to the reached solutions, after the implementation of the comprehensive plan of joint action, all of the UN resolutions will be revoked, and all of the multilateral economic and financial sanctions by the EU, European Union, and the unilateral ones by the U.S. will be annulled. Okay? This is not what Obama's been telling us, is it not?
No. In fact, that's the thing. Are they going to be removed immediately or gradually? And then if they are removed, if they're found to do things against the agreement, well, there's, as he said it today, I believe he said it, there's a mechanism in place, a mechanism. You know what that means?
Is that the mechanism that paints the red lines?
That's the mechanism that says this is going to take years and Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon and then all hell's going to break loose. That's the mechanism.
Well, of course, because remember, people keep talking about the Iraq War, right? That as if George Bush just decided for reasons known only to him, but that we can only speculate have to do with Halliburton, and he's just a jerk, right? That actually we were not at peace with Iraq. there had been a conditional ceasefire